So my dad, who's clipped articles for me my whole life, recently sent an article to me about the decline of reading, or maybe the decline of the big popular author. And I thought, maybe the decline of the big popular author, but I don't think the decline of reading necessarily. In fact, recently one of my friends told me that her mid-20s son and his girlfriend are in a book club, and he had to go. They were on the phone and he had to go because he needed to finish up the book that he was reading for his book club. I know so many people who love reading, just like I do. I'm so passionate about reading that I can't think of a word that describes enough how much I love to read. Voracious isn't cutting it, and bookworm doesn't quite do it justice. I've loved reading the way I love reading ever since I was a kid. I have fond memories of coming home from the library with books stacked from my chin to my hands, just as many as I could carry. And I still feel that way. I love to track my reading. I love to plan my reading. I love the whimsical bookstore or library discovery. And I think sometimes the hardest thing about reading right now is choosing, because there's such a multitude of good reads out there. In fact, I don't know that we're just like having a decline in reading. I think we're just having an expansion of the canon, which I think is wonderful. There's more genres, there's more authors, there's more to read and more to discover. So I decided, because I have such a carefully curated TBR and I choose my books so carefully, if not sometimes whimsically, that I would throw my voice in. I think I might be different than others because I'm going to suggest books in sets, oftentimes by theme, sometimes by author style. And you may or may not want to read books together. But I think that sometimes there can be some value in making connections from text to text and seeing how authors may be thinking about or writing about the same ideas. A word about how we're reading right now. I used to teach English, and when I taught English, one of the things I studied was how people read well. Reading, as it turns out, is just like anything else. Some people might be intrinsically good at it, but most people get better at it with practice. And we have strategies that we use that make us good readers. As it turns out, when you read a book with your eyes, you're doing the same things that you do when you read a book with your ears. So if you love to read a book with your ears on audio formats, keep going. And don't let anyone tell you that you're not being a good reader. In fact, we didn't come from a society with oral traditions for you to be told that listening orally isn't valuable. If you love to read with your eyes, wonderful. Reading with your eyes is going to do a lot of those same strategies, obviously, that good readers use. They're both valuable. They both have wonderful value to your life. A word about speed. If you're a quick reader, great. You might consider slowing down, and listening to books might help you. If you're a slow reader and you're beating yourself up over that, I hope you see that you might be taking in details that quick readers aren't. So, I kind of think it doesn't matter how you read if reading is joyful for you. And it doesn't matter what you read if reading is joyful for you. Reading can be challenging, it can be joyful, it can provoke thought, it can provoke passion, right? Reading can just be imaginative and wonderful, and it can spark joy. And so I'm excited to make some recommendations and get pretty booky, pretty nerdy, and share a passion